Hi everyone, welcome back to my video. So today's topic will be on mindset for healthy eating, and I will talk about 5 healthy mindsets to create a better eating behavior and a long-lasting healthy diet. Now I want to clarify first that I'm not a health professional or nutritionist by any means. So please consult your doctors and your nutritionist for your diet. And I'm just here talking about my experience and my personal choices for my healthy diet. For the new viewers, my name is Amy and I'm a professional violinist and I like personal development and I love to talk about it. So today we're going to talk about healthy mindset around healthy eating. So I know that talking about food issues here can be a little sensitive and a little bit triggering for some people, since some of you guys who subscribed initially because you also related to my eating disorder behaviors or my mentality around food. Since the beginning of my journey of this YouTube channel was about veganism, and then gradually it moved on to my life, which I also shared about my struggles with eating issues and eating behaviors. I know there's always two extremes around the food and healthy eating. People who are stuck in the diet mentality, really counting calories to every gram, every fraction of it. Or like I used to really obsessed with checking the food labels, or really scared of the fats or oils, or to another extreme of the spectrum, which is people actually worse than that, they don't really care. So I actually followed some of these people too. They are self-proclaimed to be non-diet dietitians, or just constantly having that hashtag body positivity, and who are carrying a very unhealthy way and still promoting that health every size and suggesting that eating all the cake you want, otherwise you're just wasting your life away. Or thinking everyone else who wants to eat a healthy diet are fat phobic. The famous American author Wang-Hiller said that you are not what you eat, you are what you believe about what you eat. Having a healthier mindset is more important than what type of food you actually choose to eat. Change your mindset can really help you to have a healthier eating behavior. And the first healthy mindset I think we really have to have is to think about that the change that we wanted to make is come from a place of love instead of a hate. Since we're talking about eating behavior and diet, I cannot deny that I did have a history of eating disorder. At one point in my life, I thought I cannot have any folds on my stomach when I sit down, or I cannot have any rolls. Otherwise, I'm just too big to my standard. So I used to hate my body. When I ate so much and I felt uncomfortable, instead of actually loving my body and trying to treat it with respect, feed it with better food, and then not overeating to stress it out, I was going from that place of hate, and I just really giving that disgust look towards myself in the mirror, and that does not really help me. Instead, it really just drive you towards extreme diet and unsustainable eating behavior, to a point that I was having disordered pattern of eating and also compensating. Since last year, I changed my identity and no longer trapped in that label of eating disorder. I did a lot of unusual behaviors, which is positive behaviors, but actually made people around me wonder that who I am now. I surprised a lot of people on using oil in my food and eating more carbs, and I was really intuitive. I know when to stop eating because I was full. I was really relaxed around the food, but recently things has been going just a little bit too far. I started eating a lot more snacks, and I've been feeling a little bit overwhelmed with all the works that I have, and I start constantly snacking, and especially with the late night snack. From the mono meal of bubble tea to the mono meal of taro roll, and to chia seeds pudding, tahini wraps, and all that other things as well. I know I needed to change because it actually affect my sleep and affect how I felt in my body, because I felt really heavy and I wasn't really actively work out, and I was just not really living a healthy lifestyle. And I realized that these 2 months have got got a lot worse because I have a lot more project now, and whenever I have a project to do, that become my go-to excuse to get some snacks and start munching the whole entire time when I was working on the project. Now it become a habitual pattern. 9 o'clock hits, I used to say that I'm gonna quit eating anything, but now instead 9 o'clock hits, that's the time for me to actually go into the kitchen and then grab more food. But if I love myself enough, I know that this is not helpful because we need enough sleep. Just like a quit sugary foods. So there's actually a quote really make me thinking that I wanted to start making the right decision and making the right changes. So the American philosopher and the psychologist William James said that when you have to make a choice and you don't make it, that is in itself a choice. Now the second healthy mindset that we should have is that to making small changes. Now, small changes is always more sustainable than those drastic shifts in lifestyle. It's like the last week, I've been just really incorporate a little bit more veggies in each of my meals. So instead of having snacks around for your lunchtime, so add more veggie in your diet. It's actually a lot easier than you think. You know, just making a dinner and throwing just a bunch of spinach in there, and you can still have regular food snacks, and you can actually just by cutting a little bit of the quantity and change out half of your noodles or rice with some sort of low carb options and just eat one less snack for the whole entire day. Like for me, really just trying to quit my late night snack after the dinner. And you might say that no eating before bed is just some kind of nonsense. That's another result of diet culture. But actually it's not. It's been scientifically proved that eating before bed actually linked with a lot of different issues in the long run. It can induce heartburn and acid refluxes, and I had a gastrointestinal issues before, so I have to really be careful on that. And eating before bed really messes up with your circadian rhythms, throwing the body's natural clock out of sync. I don't usually go to bed that early because whenever I eat before I go to bed or like very, very late at night, it actually causes me to stay up very late. That food acts like a stimulant. It's not as much as a caffeine, but it's almost acting the same way. To me, whenever I inject food before I go to bed, I immediately having that adrenaline pump up, and I felt like I can go on for 2 or 3 hours and not going to bed because my body just kind of constantly excited about, grinding food down, not having that sense of calm in my body and feel like it's ready to go to bed. And of course, the reason that really drive me to go eat more stuff is because emotional eating. Now, the next one is that don't demonize any food, including healthy foods. So for my diet, there's actually not a no list on my meal choices. So any food, if I really want, that I can have it. So that means it includes everything around healthy or slightly a little bit more indulgent, and also sometimes the carb alternative. That's why I want to talk about demonizing healthy foods. So I know that when I was deep down in an eating disorder, I ate a lot of yam noodles, which is shirataki noodles, but in Japan, that's actually a very healthy food that we use in some sort of like hot pot. And I love the texture, and the texture with the rice with all the other veggies and meats, that just creates a little more variety. But I was actually scared of using them because when I was having my issues, I was constantly eating those without having any real rice and trying to counting calories to under a very unhealthy amount. And so my husband actually was very scared. Whenever he sees me to start eating those noodles, he thinks that I was back into that kind of track. It's not until I explained to him and really gain his trust around my food choices that I make. That's when he knows that I was just trying to having whatever I love and still trying to keep a balanced diet. And a small portion of your diet can be a little bit indulgent. Just like I love my Chinese food. Some of my Chinese food aren't really healthy to a lot of people here, especially to the community who wants to do ketos or carnivores or whatever their diet is. But I like the variety and the balance in the Chinese food, that it doesn't really discriminate any sort of carbs, any sort of meats or veggies. It's all about how much amount you're gonna have. So I think 80-20 rule applies to every single thing in your life, including your food. So if you're having 80% of your diet that is very healthy, and you're just only having a little here and there, a little bit treats, and that is okay. But you want to focus on that 80% very nutrient dense foods to make yourself healthier and more vibrant and feeling better. Now, going into the next point is about intuition and honor your body. Like I just talked about, that we all have cultural differences. Like me, I love rice, and without rice sometimes I don't feel quite satisfied. And are they really that bad? I don't think so. I grew up eating that. My parents have been eating it, and they were really healthy person. They were active and they were just very fit. And we can't talk about intuition without talking about girls' period. And whenever it's close to our menstrual cycle, and we tend to really feel the need to having more food, because our body needs that extra fuel to go through that couple of days. It's very strenuous on our body. So that's why whenever I finish my period, even my mom told me that I need to add a little more of red meats in my diet. But I know sometimes when we have our period, we want to eat a lot of junks. But that's why we need to honor our body. You can get a test done easily to see that if you are sensitive to a certain foods, and so you can actually avoid it, or you can simply listen to your body with a very objective perspective. Now that leads to why I actually don't eat sugar, because multiple studies have found a link between diets high in sugar and depression. And overconsumption of your sugar triggers imbalance in certain brain chemistry. So the overconsumption of sugar can actually lead to a depression and may even cause a long-term risk of developing some sort of mental illness and mental disorders for some people. And that's definitely happened to me. I used to be crazy with sugar, especially when I was binge eating and I was eating tons of donuts. I can tell you that that period of time, that couple years, my mental state was so bad. But since I quit sugar from 2019, I've been really stable with my mood. Now, I think the last mindset is very important, is that we have to keep practicing self-compassion. I know that things not always turn out the way that we want it to be. And sometimes it's easily we fall off the diet. Sometimes we get really, really stressed and then we didn't really check in with ourselves. Or we indulged something because it was a party, because it was certain events. If you really draw on it, it was more toxic than the actual food that you ate. And we all make mistakes, and sometimes we're being carried away by our emotions and stress. So really say to yourself that it's okay to not be perfect on your diet, because there's no such a thing as perfect. And try to not compensate and detox or doing crazy behaviors. And this way we can easily move on and to really build a better habits the second day. So remember to love your body and honor your body. So when you're practicing your gratitude, not only practicing gratitude towards your life, but also towards the only vessel you have that the universe give it to you to do all these greatness in life. And this is important. So take care of it and appreciate it. And like I just mentioned in the beginning of the video, that Wang has said that you're not what you eat, you're what you believe about what you eat. So it doesn't matter how good the food is, it's going to actually negatively impact your health, just because our mind is more powerful than our body. Now I hope you got something from this video, and I really need to go to sleep now. Seems like I always making video at really late at night. But anyway, so if you like this video, please smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification. I will upload every Tuesday and our Thursday, Saturday live stream study with me. So don't forget to be kind to yourself, and I will see you guys next time. I think the way I overconsume food has also made my pore bigger. Yeah, so I really have to change this.